What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're back with another week of upset season. I'm not saying every game on here is going to be upset. Not every game is going to change. But we're here going to start with Friday night UNLV versus San Jose State. I know you're probably saying, UNLV isn't even ranked. They are ranked in the AP poll. We're going to be doing AP poll rankings since the college football playoff rankings don't come out until Tuesday. And that's too long from now. So, UNLV versus San Jose State. I have UNLV winning this game. Essentially winning this game because San Jose State, yes, they're a good team. They went toe-to-toe with Boise. And if you watch that game against Boise State, they were in it to win it. But they had a game plan. Stop the running back. And then the Boise State had to figure out how to throw the ball real fast. And they figured it out and essentially came out and win. But UNLV is not a one-trick pony. And I think that UNLV is going to handle business here, which is why I have the score 21-30 with UNLV favored. I think it's going to be closer because San Jose State keeps it close, but I do think UNLV is going to come out on top. This Saturday game at noon, we have the Titan game of the week, two Big Ten Titans. We have David versus Goliath, Ohio State versus Indiana. Indiana is sitting on a resume of barely playing anyone, dominating teams, of course, but barely playing anyone of quality substance. Sitting around 5 in the AP poll, sitting around 5 or 6 in the college football playoff rankings. And Ohio State, their best win is against Penn State, and they have a quality loss against Oregon. But what I will say is that Indiana is something to play with here. They have a chance to show the committee, show the world. I was watching CBS Sports yesterday, and they were talking like, oh, Indiana's going to have one loss, blah, 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 blah. Talking crazy. So that's why this week, we're going to have another upset. We have 26-24. It's going to be close. It's going to be a one-score game, maybe a last-minute drive by the Hoosiers to come out on top to essentially seal in the deal. Vegas doesn't know what they're talking about. Minus 12, that's laughable. Indiana's coming out with the upset in Buckeye. Next Saturday game we have is Wake Forest versus Miami. Miami's sitting here around minus 24 in the spread, and I don't think it's going to change much. I think Wake Forest is a team just like Vandy historically, where they're just not very good at football. I think that Miami's going to dominate and handle business, which is why I have the score sitting around 45-35. Yes, it looks very close, but Miami likes to keep teams really close in it. But I also think Miami's going to let them take over like Georgia Tech did. So I will have Miami winning this. They're going to have full control over this game the entire way. Next noon game we have is Ole Miss versus the Florida Gators. Florida Gators are starting to look like the Kansas of the SEC. Upset season. DJ was looking great last week with that huge win. I think he's going to translate that into the next win. Florida's looking for a bowl game, and they're trying to crush people's dreams and hopes, which is why I have Florida winning this game 28-27. I think Florida has an opportunity here at home to storm the field against a high-ranked Ole Miss team. I think their Ole Miss is probably going to be around like 6 or 7 by the time we get to Saturday. So it's going to be a great win. I think Ole Miss is one of those teams where like the committee and all the other sports analysts talk about, where Ole Miss looks great one week and they don't look great the other weeks. And yes, their 2 losses came down to some maybe 1-2 plays, but it's still a loss, and I still think that Florida can come out with a huge upset like they did last week. Next noon game we have is SMU versus Virginia. This is going to be a pretty cut and dry analysis of this game, where I think SMU is going to handle business. I think SMU has a pretty easy way to get to the ACC title game, and all they got to do is just win their games. And Virginia is just one of those pieces to that puzzle. And I don't think Virginia's gonna be able to keep up. I don't think SMU is gonna hold back. I have SMU winning this 35-25 in this game. It might look close, but Boston College was trying to make a comeback in that game. So I think that Virginia probably has a chance, but don't hold me to that. Next new game we have is Rutgers versus Illinois. Rutgers is favored in this one, and I don't know why. I was trying to figure it out. I was looking at Rutgers' schedule. I was looking at their win-loss ratios. I was looking at their statistics, their offense, their defense. Like, what about Rutgers screams W? And I was like, I just couldn't find it. Rutgers has lost to every team that mattered. They're not a good program. They're just not good. I don't know why they're favored in this one. barely. It's like a pick'em game. But Vegas will never skew you wrong, which is why I have the upset on this one. Upset season. I have Rutgers winning this game against Illinois. Illinois is in the same boat as Rutgers. Illinois hasn't played nothing. All their ranked victories are against trash, garbage teams. I have Rutgers winning this 24-21. Next Saturday game, 12:45. We haven't had a 12:45 game on the channel in a long time. A lot of the good teams no longer play at this terrible time slot. I have Georgia winning this 52-7. It's probably an FCS game. Moving on. Next Saturday, 1 o'clock, we have another one of those beautiful late season FCS / group of 5 gameplay by these SEC teams. It's insane that they only play 8 conference games and they just don't keep playing more conference opponents. But my score is going to be 50-3 on this one. There we go. Next Saturday game we have is Texas versus Kentucky. You're probably saying to yourself, James, is this going to be another upset? Is this going to be another upset alert? And I will have to tell you, no, it's not. Kentucky is terrible. I don't think Kentucky is going to win this game. I know there was one game this year where Kentucky was looking like they were going to beat Georgia, but I would say that was a fluke. A fluke, one-off experience for Kentucky this year. Kentucky is not very good. They're pretty bad. And I think Texas is going to be able to handle business here. I don't think Texas can afford to lose. Prediction time, if Texas loses to Texas A&M, there's a good chance they don't even make the playoffs. They either be 10-2. Yeah, they'll sit there and be like, yeah, we won all these teams, but they didn't play anybody. All their ranked talent they played, they lost to. So I think that Texas can't afford to take a game on Kentucky. I have 42-10 on this one. I think Texas is going to dominate this game. There's going to be a point where they're going to throw in their backup quarterback, Arch Manning, because it's just not going to be very interesting. Next Saturday, 3:30, we have is Minnesota versus Penn State. Highly ranked Penn State, by the way. I don't think they should be ranked as high as they are. I think they should be pushed back to probably like 6 or 7. But I am not the one on the committee, so I cannot be the one making those decisions. But I do have Penn State winning this game with ease, with prowess. I don't think Minnesota's going to be giving any upsets this weekend with this team. If they do, though, that would be crazy because then it would make more Big Ten teams not in the playoffs, which would then make Big Ten look worse than they are. So can Minnesota be the dream crusher? My prediction says no. I have Penn State win this with ease, 32-14. No question. There's no issue here. Next Saturday game, who would have thought? 3:30, another ranked on rank banger of a game. ASU versus BYU. ASU controls their own destiny here. ASU can't afford to lose. They want to go to the Big 12 championship game. They want to go see the playoffs after a horrible legacy with their previous head coach. I think BYU also wants that dream too. But BYU cannot afford to drop another game. They could afford to drop one game to make the Big 12 championship, but they can't afford to drop 2 games. Because they drop 2 games, there's a good chance that they will not make the Big 12 title game, and there's a 100% chance if they lose another game where they won't make the playoffs without a Big 10 title under their belt. I doubt the committee is going to allow 2 Big 12 teams in, let alone barely one, because there's definitely a possibility that if Army were to go crazy and win all their games, there's a good possibility that the Big 12 can potentially get skipped, depending on how these teams gobble each other up. But I digress. I have ASU winning this 30-24. Upset alert. Next 3:30 game Saturday, we have is Colorado versus the Dream Killers, Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas Jayhawks are sitting high and pretty. They're a good team. They just can't win. They just have a hard time winning games. Like, if you look at all their losses, you're like, they were in it. They were there. They weren't just like getting blown out. And then that now late in the season, they're hunting for that bowl game, and they're beating teams. Dream Killer. Can prime time take their Colorado to the next level? Colorado controls their own destiny. Just like the previous game I just showed. They control their destiny. If they win out, they make the Big 12 title game, and they have a strong case to make it into the playoffs. If they lose, that almost takes them out, depending on how they require other people. They control their own destiny, which is why I have upset alerts. Upset alert. The Dream Killers are going to come in and beat Colorado. They're going to win with prowess by 3. Not really prowess. This game is practically a flip-em. Pick-em game. -2.5. I think the Jayhawks have something to prove here. They want to make the bowl game. They want to end the season off right. And they don't care whose dreams they're crushing. They're not just going to let Colorado just go to the playoffs with ease. No, they will not. So I have them winning 33-30. Next 3:30 game we have is Citadel versus Clemson. This game is not going to be fun, 50-0. 4 o'clock we have a South Carolina versus another FCS program. Also not very fun, 50-0. First primetime game of the weekend we have is Notre Dame versus Army. This is going to be either the greatest game of the weekend or the absolute worst game of the weekend. There is no in between. There is not going to be anything. Either Army is going to upset Notre Dame or Notre Dame is going to kill this team. Those are the only two outcomes. There's not going to be a close matchup. Notre Dame is either going to do to Army what they did to Navy and blow them out of the water, or Army is going to stay in the game, run the clock down, play their football, and win the game, essentially. That's the only two outcomes that I see happening. And you're probably asking yourself, easy paradox. There's no way you're going to have this many upsets on this list. There's no way. The comments will kill you. And I'm like, challenge accepted. Army's upsetting Notre Dame in this one. I was looking at the footage. I was looking at the film. The last couple weeks, Army has been running down the clocks. It almost looks like they're preparing for said game. They're not scoring as many points as they were earlier in the year. They were averaging 30 plus, almost 40 points at the beginning of the season. And these last two games have been barely scoring up to 20 points. I think Army is going to keep this game, score low. They're going to run the clock down. They're going to have a 12, 14-minute drives on this Notre Dame defense. There's going to be running it, wearing and tearing. And I think Army is going to come out in victory on this one. Mark my words, W. Next Saturday primetime game, we have Boise State versus Wyoming. Do I see upset alert again? Do I see it? I do not see that. I have Boise State winning this 45-14. There's not much to talk about. Boise State controls their own destiny. They have to win out or they're out. Next Saturday game, in my prediction, I don't think Washington State is going to be ranked. I think Washington State, after that loss against New Mexico, I don't think that they should be ranked. Had to win out and just hope that the committee saw that the Boise State loss was a really good loss and they could get in, just squeeze in there. But with that loss last night when they were favored by a lot, I don't think it's going to happen. Back to this game, Washington State versus Oregon State, Pac-12 remaining. I think that Washington State's a better team. I don't think Oregon State is as good. But we also thought last week Washington was a better team last week. But we were proven wrong here. But I still think that Washington State is going to overcome this game. I think they're going to win 26-21 in Oregon State territory. But it's just not going to be as fun as it used to be watching this team, thinking that they could potentially make the playoffs. Next Saturday, 7:30. Welcome back to the AP rankings, Iowa State. You were gone for a little bit, but you were always missed. Iowa State versus Utah. I think that Utah isn't very good this year. They had a couple close ones. They had a close one with BYU. They looked like they were going to try to keep it close with Colorado there at the beginning, but then just Colorado just walked right all over them, which is why I have Iowa State coming up on top in this one, 28-17. It's not going to be a very enjoyable game. It's going to be very simple. Iowa State's going to control this game, and Iowa State essentially is in control of their own destiny in this one as well. There's a good chance that Iowa State could make the playoffs if a bunch of things happen, and first off, they have to win all their games to make that dream a reality. Saturday primetime, this could have been a classic. Oklahoma versus Alabama. But Oklahoma sucks this year. They're not very good. They keep losing games. And I don't think against Alabama at home is going to change that. I think Alabama's going to win this 42-3. Maybe Oklahoma scores, maybe they don't. But I don't think they're going to keep it close. I don't think Alabama's going to let Oklahoma score any more points on this one. Next 7:30 primetime game here is Texas A&M versus Auburn. I hope that someone in the comments, if you make it this far in the video, you go, why is Auburn and Texas A&M a -2.5 for Texas A&M? Why is this a pick'em game? I was looking at Auburn. They're 13th in the SEC. 13th. They've only beaten Kentucky. And Texas A&M is a good team. They're a good team. They're not bad. Why is it a pick'em? I don't know, and I almost don't care. I'm not Vegas. I don't make the rules. I have Texas A&M dominating this game, 35-10. I think this is easy money. I don't know what. If I was a gambling man, this is easy money. I'm putting it on the 2.5. Easy money. Last game of the weekend, we have our classics, Iowa versus Maryland. If you're new here, I always do an Iowa pick at the very end if they're not ranked. But Iowa isn't ranked, so we're going to do their pick. And I think Iowa is a better team here. I don't think Maryland's very good. I don't think Maryland has been good in a long time. And now Maryland has ugly uniforms. So take that with what you will. Iowa's winning this game 28-20. I think Maryland's going to score some garbage time points in the end to try to come back, but Iowa's going to win this game pretty easily. That's going to be it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Peace.